Hey everybody, this one is called Common Law ID Cards number 2. This is going to be a short one, so I'm skipping a lot of the ads and stuff like that I put in there. A lot of people like that, I'm sure. Anyways, vid.me shut down on the 15th of December, and the YouTube channel called Sovereignty International is terminated. And I made the exclusive content available on my website, but you'll need a Google account set up. I have 2 subscription levels. And I accept cryptocurrencies. The basic subscription level is $2.99 a month or $19.99 a year for the videos only, and then I have a platinum subscription level, $4.99 a month or $39.99 a year for videos plus unlimited consultations. But you have to understand the limit on what I can do for consultations, because I'm not a liar. Well, I meant attorney. No, actually, I meant a liar. But I can tell you what I would do and where to find the forms in a certain situation. The only power that these New World Order Satanists have over us is through fraud and deception, and my agenda is to expose it for all our benefit. And I cannot fight all the battles. I need more people fighting on point, bringing up the right issues, so that we can put a stop to all this. And so if you want to make it a donation, that's fine. It's a modest donation, there's no doubt about it, but a whole bunch of people chipping in a modest donation, it adds up. Anyways, I'm currently publishing 1 video a week, although I'll probably, for a period, I got quite a few videos here that I'm thinking about doing, and so it might be a couple a week here for the next little while. But generally speaking, it'll be 1 a week. Some of my exclusive content is Arlington Private Information Share, which is 9 videos all by itself. Land deed training, estoppel certificates training, foreclosure estoppel certificates training, corporate denial training, toll roads notice and demand training, invoice training, notice of void judgment training, revocation of signature training, third-party witness training, federal habeas corpus training, revocation of voter registration training, criminal complaint training. And then I'm going to probably be doing more criminal complaint training because as I come up with more things to be aware of, and lawsuit training is one that's upcoming, and any other requests that might be out there. All forms, files, and other instructions are available for free on my 2 private groups at Yahoo groups and Google groups. So the training is above and beyond. All the forms and everything are available. So, if you don't need the training, then, it's up to you whether you want to subscribe. Maybe you just want it to be a donation or whatever. Anyways, all exclusive content will be on my website, and you can buy a subscription there. This is Texas Penal Code, Section 38.02, failure to identify. A person commits an offense if he intentionally refuses to give his name, residence, address, or date of birth to a peace officer who has lawfully arrested the person and requested the information. Well, first of all, if he's a pig and he's not operating in his official capacity, in other words, if he stopped for speeding, then he's not a peace officer, okay? He's a Leo. And he hasn't lawfully arrested you. But these pigs like to just go ahead and assault you with it anyways and let you deal with it before the bail priests. So that's why this is called common law identification, okay? And so I have a couple sources. Anyways, let's talk about some other stuff first. Texas Code of Criminal Procedure, Article 38.23, evidence not to be used. And this is talking about good faith, okay? These Satanist pigs. No evidence obtained by an officer or other person in violation of any provisions of the constitutional laws of the state of Texas or constitutional laws of the United States shall be admitted in evidence against the accused on the trial of any criminal case. And then, these bar member Satanists throw in this little exclusion. It is an exception to the provisions of subsection A of this article that the evidence was obtained by a law enforcement officer acting in objective good faith reliance upon a warrant issued by a neutral magistrate based on probable cause. Well, there is no such thing as neutral and unbiased. They're all bought and paid for. Don't get me going. But anyways, you need to be aware that these pigs operate in good faith, or claim to have to operate in good faith. And so the key is to take away their good faith. And this is federal defense, a good faith reliance on a court order or a warrant or order, a grand jury subpoena, a legislative authorization or a statutory authorization, including a request of a governmental entity under Section 2703F of this title, a request of an investigative or law enforcement officer under Section 2518.7 of this title, or a good faith determination that Section 2511.3 of this title permitted the conduct complained of is a complete defense to any civil or criminal action brought under this chapter or any other law. So, again, that's under the federal codes. They want them to have good faith so they can go ahead and get away with it. This is, it will be noted that the statute provides that every licensee shall have his operators, commercial operators, or chauffeurs license in his immediate possession at all times when operating a motor vehicle. It therefore occurs to us that it is absolutely necessary for the state to allege and prove that the accused was, on the date of the alleged offense, a licensee. For as we construe the statute above quoted, it applies specifically to a licensee. And unless the person accused was a licensee, we fail to understand how he could be guilty of violating the provisions of this portion of the statute and failing to display same upon demand. And so, again, there's your out. Okay, that's I think that's Court of Criminal Appeals. Anyways, and here's another one where a person is not at the time a licensee, neither the agency nor any official has any jurisdiction of said person to consider or make any order. Okay, these Satanist whores do it all the time because, they're sitting there playing stupid. One ground as to want of jurisdiction was accused was not a licensee and it was not claimed that he was. And so, these people are Satanists. The whores on the bench, the so-called judges, the clerks masquerading as judges, sit there and play stupid, and if you don't bring up the right thing at the right time, then they just walk all over you. But you can challenge jurisdiction at any time, even after conviction, at any time on appeals, whenever, doesn't matter. And this is all about jurisdiction. Anyways, so the important thing is to have some sort of ID card, okay? And I have some common law ID cards. That's the only thing I use. I have both Catman's here, and I've got the NSEA one we're going to talk about in a few minutes. The Catman's common law ID card has a common law picture ID cards available that are notarized, and they can be unnotarized as well. I like him a lot. Catman's a pretty sharp guy, and he's a big researcher, and I've used some of his material in my videos. He also provides information on the law and has a book available. If you contact Catman, tell him Sovereign Living sent you. Anyway, so catman1@gmail.com is his email. He's got some great ID cards. Now, NSEA.us is the other ID card that's available, and they're doing some pretty amazing things too. They got a judge removed in Tennessee. They even had the U.S. Marshals effect service of a writ on the mayor to get the judge fired, and part of the requirements of the writ is that they have to satisfy the requirements of the Clean Water Act, and we're going to go through that here in a minute. And so this is pretty good. I'll tell you, this is really slick. When you contact NSEA.us, tell them the Sovereign Living sent you. Anyways, so we're going to go through the Act, the Clean Water Act, and talk a little bit about that because it's actually very, very powerful. Check out my other videos, Bankster Thieves Playlist, Roman Cult Playlist, Bankrupt Corporate So-Called Governments, Bar Members 1 through 3, Do-It-Yourself How Not to Volunteer for the Selective Service in the Draft, Martial Laws Here, Do-It-Yourself No Income Tax, Do-It-Yourself Free Mail, Do-It-Yourself Kangaroo Courts 1 through 9, Canada Border Pigs Playlist, Bar Members and their Satanic Connections Playlist. So this is what the NSEA, it stands for National Standards Enforcement Agency, and they are the International Environmental Court. So it's IEC, International Environmental Court. anyways, this is Public Law 92-500. This is where they base everything they have. Now, the interesting thing about this is that this was passed. It was vetoed by Nixon. Okay, Nixon vetoed it, and that's what we're going to look at here. The Senate having proceeded to reconsider the bill entitled An Act to Amend the Federal Water Pollution Control Act, returned by the President of the United States with his objections to the Senate in which it originated. It was resolved that the said bill passed 2/3 of the senators present having voted in the affirmative. Okay, so they overrode the veto of the president. Okay, well, and so that also means that they have to have a 2/3 majority to make any changes to it too, which is just about impossible. So this is pretty slick, I'll tell you. Another thing I notice here is if you look at the secretary, Francis R. Vallejo, that's all in all block capital letters, but is signed by his assistant secretary in upper and lower case. Isn't that interesting? Anyways, and this is the House of Representatives in the House of having proceeded to reconsider the bill entitled An Act to Amend the Federal Water Pollution Control Act, returned by the President of the United States with his objections to the Senate in which it originated. It was resolved the said bill passed 2/3 of the House of Representatives agreeing to the same. So they overrode his veto. That makes it very, very powerful. And so this with NSCA is getting judges removed based on this. Anyways, this is so this is 86 stat Public Law 92-500 86 stat. This is the very end. Okay, all of this stuff here is at the very end of the bill of the act. And it starts out at 86-816. It goes for about 100 pages. But anyway, so this is one page of the act, and the important thing is I want to bring to your attention here is the purposes of this section 306. Okay, 306 is the term standard of performance means the standard for the control of discharge of pollutants which reflects the greatest degree of effluent reduction which the administrator determines to be achievable. Now, there's websites that you can get the information you need for this, okay? NSCA will tell you all about it. It's pretty slick. Anyways, this is page 855, and it talks about the term new source means any source, the construction which is commenced after the publication of proposed regulations prescribing a standard of performance under the section which will be applicable to such source. If such source is thereafter promulgated in accordance with this section, the term source means any building, structure, facility, or installation from which there is or may be the discharge of pollutants. The term owner or operator means any person who owns, leases, operates, controls, or supervises a source. Anyway, so these are some of the definitions, and so we're going to get into this a little bit more here. And now look at this. It says, this is on page 860. It says, any action under this subsection may be brought in the District Court of the United States. It's not the United States District Court, okay? It's in the District Court of the United States for the district in which the defendant is located or resides or is doing business. And such court shall have jurisdiction to restrain such violation and to require compliance. Notice of the commencement of such action shall be given immediately to the appropriate state. Any person who willfully or negligently violates section 301, 302, 306, 307, or 308 of this act, or any permit, condition, or limitation implementing any of such sections in a permit issued under section 402 of this act by the administrator or by a state shall be punished by a fine not less than $2,500 nor more than $25,000 per day of violation, or by imprisonment for not more than 1 year by both. And so it's a felony, okay, to violate this, okay, and that's the important thing, okay. So you basically, what they do is they show that the judge is violating the act. He's using the toilet. He's using the toilet, and he's discharging his pollutants into the water and into the waters, and he is committing a felony. okay? And so they show, and it's pretty interesting because under the Constitution, in Article 3, it says judges only hold office during good behavior, and committing a felony is not good behavior. That's bad behavior. And so they serve a letter, or a writ actually, on they get the U.S. Marshals to do it, and that's the slick thing about it too. Anyways, so let's keep going here. Federal facilities pollution control, okay, and it even talks about exceptions, but it says except that no exception may be granted from the requirements of Section 306 or 307 of this Act, okay. So that's, remember I went and talked about the beginning of Section 306, and so the point is that there's no exceptions, okay, and if they're in breach, and the NSCA, they'll help you put that together, and we'll talk about that more. You serve on them a citation, okay, is what you do, okay. Anyways, my contact information is sovereigntyinternational.wordpress.com is my blog. My website is sovereigntyinternational.fyi. My email address is engineerwin@yahoo.com. My YouTube profile is Sovereign Living and Sovereignty International. Sovereignty International is deleted. Just Sovereign Living now. I have to adjust this one, I think. Facebook community page, I deleted it. My private group at Sovereignty International is being deleted. On Facebook, it takes time to ban 17,000 people off your group, and I'm not going to let Facebook profit from my hard work. My Yahoo private group is administering your public servants, and my Google private group is administering your public servants. Follow me on Twitter at Engineer Win. Follow me on Steemit at Sovereignty International, and I have a BitChute profile, but I don't have all my videos uploaded there. Anyway, so it continues. This is page 883. And so a compliance with a permit issued pursuant to this section shall be deemed compliance for purposes, of sections whatever, okay? And so it talks about in the case of any point source discharging any pollutant or contamination or pollutants immediately prior to such enactment, okay? So it's any kind of pollutants, okay? When they use the toilet, they're discharging their pollutants into the waters. And then it goes more into some definitions here. This is page 886. The term state means a state, the District of Columbia, Commonwealth, Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, Guam, American Samoa, Trust Territories of the Pacific Islands. And so, again, this doesn't apply to living souls. This applies to governmental entities. Okay, this is where it applies, or corporations, okay? And so they're all U.S. citizens, okay? So they're all required to comply with this. It doesn't mean people at home. But you can also, what they do is they serve this thing on the guy's wife at his home. And so he's polluting the waters at his home too. And so that brings a special kind of heat down on him, if you understand what I'm saying. Anyways, the term municipality means a city, town, borough, county, parish, district, association, or other political body created by or pursuant to state law and having jurisdiction over disposal of sewage, industrial waste, or other waste, or any Indian tribe or authorized Indian tribal organization, or a designated and approved management agency. The term person means an individual, corporation, partnership, association, state, municipality, commission, or political subdivision of a state or any interstate body. The term pollutant means dredged soil, solid waste, incinerator residue, sewage, garbage, sewage sludge, munitions, chemical waste, biological materials, radioactive materials. I mean, it covers everything. So again, he uses the toilet. He's discharging pollutants into the waters. The term discharge of a pollutant means any addition of any pollutant to navigable waters from any point source. Any addition of any pollutant to the waters of the contiguous zone or the ocean from any point source other than a vessel or other floating craft. Okay, so again, if it goes into the rivers, it's going to wind up in the navigable waters. It's pretty slick, I'm telling you. This thing is pretty widespread and all-encompassing, and none of them are in compliance, okay? You have to understand, none of them, nobody. That's why they claim they can get rid of any judge, and you know, they were telling me about this one in Tennessee that they got removed, again, because everything's under martial law. They admit it, and they're all, but the martial law only applies in the federal jurisdiction, okay, and all of these bail priests and all that, okay, so again, so that's why they serve it on the mayor, because he's the boss. He's the chief administrator of the martial law. Citizen suits, Section 505, except provided in this section, any citizen may commence a civil suit on his own behalf. Okay, so anybody can do it, and it even goes into it more. Don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel. Don't forget to follow me on Steemit at Sovereignty International. Don't forget to like this video on YouTube. Don't forget to click the bell next to the subscribe button so you're notified when there's a new upload. On Steemit, don't forget to vote or make your comments. And check out BitChute. There's my front page of my channel. The subscribe button's clicked, the bell, arrow's pointing at the bell. When you click the bell, pop-up will come up, and you have to check a box and click OK to be notified of uploads. There's Steemit. The left arrow is the where you click for upvoting. The middle arrow is the number of votes, and the right arrow is where you make comments. This is Steemit again. The hand is touching the profile called Crypto Wallet. The little window comes down. You can follow them or unfollow them. Anyways, back to the topic at hand. Public Law 92-500, page 889. The court issuing any final order in any action brought pursuant to this section may award costs of litigation, including reasonable attorney and expert witness fees, to any party whenever the court determines such award is appropriate. The court may, if a temporary restraining order or preliminary injunction is sought, require the filing of a bond or equivalent security in accordance with the federal rules of civil procedure. And then go down, for the purposes of this section, the term citizen means a person or persons having an interest which is or may be adversely affected. And so that is pretty all-encompassing. And so that could be anybody. This is page 889. Oh, this is actually where it's blown up and it's talking about the stuff that we just talked about. Copies of these documents can be found in my private group at Yahoo called Administrating Your Public Servants. For a complete set of YouTube videos with private information, shares a DVD with over 50 searchable law dictionaries and other books and forums, contact me privately at engineerwin@yahoo.com. Donations to support this work are appreciated. I prefer gold or silver coin, but as an extremely less desirable alternative, I can accept IOUs. The Federal Reserve knows the PayPal gifts, the checks, the money orders. Send me an email for particulars. This is their citation, okay, and this is on legal size paper. They'll send you the PDF version and you just print it onto here, and so it's got all of the necessary information that you need to issue a citation to them, and if you look in the middle here, right in here, there's where you fill in the information here, and there's a website that you can actually go and look it up. It'll tell you the pollutants that are being issued in every municipality in the country, and so then you just fill in all these blanks here about what they are, and it's pretty simple, and so they've got it down, and you just start a claim against them, and anybody can do it. And so this is pretty good. This is what NSCA.US does, National Standards Enforcement Agency, and the International Environmental Court, and it's all under Public Law 92-500, and they even get the U.S. Marshals to effect service of their writs. So I would. They have a great ID card that I talked about in the previous common law ID video that I use. It's I don't have an image of it here, but it's highly recommended, along with the Catman. Those are the only two ones that I know about that provide common law IDs. If there was more, then I wouldn't have a problem telling people about it, but those are the only two that I know about. So anyways, the they've got it down pretty good. These guys are pretty slick, and it's they use common law. The ID is all common law. They don't put birth date on it, and it's. I mean, I really like mine. I use it all the time, and I rarely get anybody turning it down. And anyways. We're basically at the end. This is a short one, so thanks for watching. And I didn't say it'd be easy, but I did say it would be the truth. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.